It's a pity the Deputy President is not yet here. He's a great supporter of that very agri-value chain that you have been and will be talking about. Honourable Commissioner for Rural Economy and Agriculture of the African Union, Rohlet Musini, it's a pleasure to see you again. Honourable Minister of Agriculture of Nigeria, Ayode, it's a pleasure to see you. Honourable Minister of Agriculture of Kenya, C.S. Felix Kosgei, to see you. Honourable Cabinet Secretary for ICT, Fred Matiangi. We were just engaging a few weeks ago. Honourable Central Bank Governor, great to see you. Not sure whether I've seen the Governor of Nairobi County. The Africa Chair is there, and the FAO representative, I'm sure. So ladies and gentlemen, all protocol observed. It's a pleasure to be here today. I was going to say exactly what the MC said, that we are actually, and the Central Bank Governor knows that well, we are actually doing quite a lot of useful work in the spheres of, in the very different sphere of counter-financing, of the countering of the financing of terrorism and anti-money laundering. And it is a pleasure to do that work. It's also a pleasure to be here at the CTA conference. Just last month, as some of you will know, President Kenyatta formally opened the ACP-EU Joint Ministerial Council, which took place here in Nairobi after it turned out to be impossible to do it elsewhere. The Europeans, I'm going to be quite brief, 2 pages brief. The European Union's agenda for change calls for inclusive and sustainable growth to achieve poverty reduction. And it recognizes that the role of the private sector is essential as a main source for growth and employment. Financial employment is essential if we are to, financial inclusion is essential if we are to achieve inclusive and sustainable growth and deliver better living conditions for poor people. By improving, for example, access to and the availability of food, by increasing and diversifying incomes, and by building human, social, and economic assets such as better nutrition, health and schooling, a proper roof, or for that matter, small business development. The European Union seeks to better engage with the private sector for development by promoting innovative business models in our partner countries that have a direct impact on the poor, and also by using innovative blending mechanisms to mobilize private investment funding for development. To translate this ambition of our European Union agenda for change in relation to inclusive and sustainable growth in more operational terms, the European Commission adopted last May a new strategic approach, a stronger role of the private sector in achieving inclusive and sustainable growth in developing countries. I just want to read you the first paragraph of that communication. Having a decent job is widely recognized as the best way out of poverty. The private sector provides some 90% of jobs in developing countries and is therefore an essential partner in the fight against poverty. And it is also needed as an investor in sustainable agricultural production if the world is to meet the challenge of feeding 9 billion people by 2050. So in terms of innovative finance solutions for the agri-value chain, the European Union supports a number of programs, hopefully promising, such as the provision of targeted farm input subsidies available on a debit card, combined with access to loan finance for individual farmers and farmers groups, right here in Kenya. We support weather-based insurance solutions for food crops and livestock in Rwanda, Tanzania, and here in Kenya. We support equity funds for small and medium agro enterprises in Uganda. We support startup aid to smallholders in terms of agro infrastructure within the framework of contract farming arrangements in Zimbabwe, for example. And we support capacity building for entrepreneurial training for microfinance clients. We obviously work closely also with the European Investment Bank, our sisters here, and they provide, through banks, other sources of financing. So these various programs on innovative finance solutions relate, of course, to our mainstream programs which support the development of agriculture and food security, not only at national, but also at regional and continental levels. Typically, our agriculture development programs pursue a food security objective while promoting more intensive, sustainable farming systems, integrating innovative technologies. Could tell you a whole separate story about the research we are supporting, and particularly the application of that research in real life once it has proven its value, and supporting primary actors, including farmers' associations and including, of course, links with other private sector actors. Just one word on the economic partnership agreement, because there's a lot of hype surrounding them. Just this week we concluded formally with ECOWAS. Now talks are ongoing with the Southern African Development Community, 7 out of the 15. Next week we'll be speaking here in Kigali with the East African Community partners. I want to make 2 points here. One, the Economic Partnership Agreement is intended to favor and promote regional integration and value addition. Make no mistake about it. It recognizes that even with a more equitable and equal playing field, we still need to assist there where market operators face supply-side constraints when entering the European markets of the 28 EU member states. Second, no products from the European Union coming to Africa will benefit from EU agricultural export subsidies. No products. Very clear commitment from our Agriculture Commissioner last December. And please keep in mind that EU domestic support is formally in the green box at the World Trade Organization, meaning not found to be trade distorting. Let me rephrase that, found not to be trade distorting. This relates to another point I want to stress. It goes back to what the Commissioner said. Africa, but also the European Union and also the United States, have a strategic interest in keeping farmers on the farm. Too many young people are leaving their farms, and that is why we need to continue to support not necessarily the production, but the producers. So our future intervention in agricultural development, food security and nutrition will, particularly in the forthcoming 11th funding tranche of the European Development Fund, become a major sector of intervention for the European Union in sub-Saharan Africa, in more than 30 countries, representing a value in investment of close to 4 billion euros. And again, important to point out, this is grant money and not loans. 4 billion euros translates in Kenyan shillings to around about 470 billion shillings. And that's from now until 2020, in all a 7-year funding period. So we therefore have a keen interest in receiving the conclusions and the recommendations from your deliberations, so as to better integrate innovative finance solutions that you may want to suggest in our future development programs. So to conclude, I want to congratulate the CTA, the Centre Technique de Coopération Agricole et Rurale, the African Union, and the Pan-African Farmers Association for this initiative, and I wish you fruitful and constructive deliberations. Thank you very much. Thank you.